Hello everybody and welcome back to OMB Reviews. I am the critic who is a sin. And hope you're doing well, and today we'll be talking about All of Us Are Dead, which is the new Korean zombie series that is being featured on Netflix. And I just was able to finish the series last night, so I figured I would be able to get a review out before hitting the road to go up to Philly after school today. Just as a reminder, no Saturday stream, and also the videos for the next few days probably will either not exist or at the very least will be a little late. I know that the box office breakdown especially will definitely be on the late side as I go up to have some fun with some family. So before going any further, though, please make sure you smash that like button, light up that fire button if you're watching over on Odyssey, and also make sure that you are subscribed to the channel with that bell notification on. That way you know every time a video or live stream goes live on the channel. All right, so All of Us Are Dead, which is based off of a webtoon now at our school, which was actually published between 2009 and 2011, is... Let me just start out. This is a fantastic show. I loved this show. I will say the very beginning is very hard to get into because obviously, just like with, I feel, most zombie flicks or zombie shows in general, you always have this period where you're kind of building things up. And so the very beginning starts off, and this is not really spoiling much of anything, but it really starts off with the fact that the zombie apocalypse has not broken out yet, right? The zombie outbreak has not happened, and so you're seeing everyday life at this high school. And what I really appreciate it now in retrospect, and as the season went on, I appreciated it even more, is at those very beginning moments in the show, before any zombies actually come into the fray and actually start, wreaking havoc, is that it allows you to be able to learn more about these different high school characters who are going to become central to the story as the story goes on. So they're building up these characters, they're building up and developing them, which is something that, again, does not happen a lot, it seems, in modern shows and television, the actual development of characters and good writing. And it's one of those things where in the very beginning it might turn some people off because it just comes across as that typical high school drama that, again, can be kind of grating from time to time. However, I will say that it does have an immense payoff because it helps to build these I know, River, I know. She's very excited about it. She was like, watching every single episode with me. She and Willow were both just, on my lap, just like watching it, and grows the whole time. Yeah, they may have slept the whole time, but you know what? They had a lot of fun with it too. But it really is just so great to have those moments that really build up the show and do such a great job at down the road saying, okay, this is why these people are acting in this capacity, or oh, this is a movement, or this is a change in this character. Again, character development. I hate to say that that's something that is existing in the show and that that's somehow a miraculous thing, but we have had so many shows and films that have not had good character development because they focus so much more on identity politics or something else where it just has been non-existent, that it's so refreshing to be able to see it. And it's also kind of sad that it's really only things coming out of South Korea that seem to have any sense of originality, that seem to have any sense of just really solid work all around. So I will say kudos to the writing team here for being able to put these shows together, be able to put these episodes together, and also to have all of these different connections, and also to keep people on their toes. I mean, you never know where this show is going to happen. There's certain characters that you might get attached to, and all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, something just happened to this character, or hey, wait a minute, something might happen to this character. And so where you are at the very beginning to where you are at the end of the show, it's just this roller coaster ride of emotions because of these pivotal moments in the early beginning where you are developing these characters, you're starting to attach yourselves to these characters, and you start to really care about them. And what I love about that is that you honestly do get invested in these characters. And so when their pains happen, you feel those pains. When their joys happen, you feel their joys. And it just really is, I think, just such a something, again, that's so refreshing in today's world that just does not really have any of this kind of stuff on a regular basis. And especially to have no sense of identity politics. There's so many things that they could have done, especially in a high school setting. And there was a couple of moments where I thought that they might go in that direction, and then they ended up not going into it, right? There was one moment where I thought, oh, they're about to do like some type of mansplaining thing, but then all of a sudden it was like, nope, that's not what they were doing at all. It's like, that was me thinking with my, American Western mind that was the direction they were going to go, because if this was made, right, in, Lord knows that they're going to try and do an All of Us Are Dead, English remake set in, just like they're doing with Train to Busan, right? That, they saw Train to Busan, they saw how successful it was, and they said, oh, here's what we're going to do then. We're going to make a Train to Busan, but we're going to do Train to New York instead, and then we're going to probably add a lot of identity politics and just add a lot of nonsense in it, and it's not going to be as good as the original, and there's no reason to remake that. If they decide to remake this at all with an American or an English-speaking audience or an English-speaking cast, it's just not going to be as good. And this is really just something that's kind of par for the course. We've known this for a long time with horror remakes, right? There's been so many great horror films that have taken place in other countries. For instance, you have, of course, the films Wreck that are Spanish-made films that they eventually turned into Quarantine. And even though they were shot-for-shot remakes, they were just not nearly as good as those original films. They didn't feel as visceral. They didn't feel as raw. And there's just so many great things that are in this. So if you are looking forward to and you like the zombie genre, I think All of Us Are Dead. All of Us Are Dead has every single thing that you could possibly ask for. It's got the zombie kills. It's got the different types of, the developments of zombies, right, that you typically see in shows or games and stuff like that. So I feel like it will make a lot of different groups happy. What I thought was interesting was that, according to Wikipedia, there are people that were criticizing the show for being overly long. Every episode's about an hour or so, and then it's 12 episodes in the season. And there apparently were people who were complaining, saying, "Oh, it's too long of a series. 12 episodes is too much." And I'm thinking to myself, you're insane. You are truly insane if you think that 12 episodes is too long. Because what that 12 episodes allows for is for all of these characters to have good development. It allows for you to stay invested in these characters, and it allows you to build up to those moments that happen in the show to think, oh my goodness, I can't believe that this is happening, or oh no, I don't want this to happen, or oh wait, is this going to happen, or what in the world did I just watch? And this is something I think that's so lost on modern day, film critics and TV critics, right? Is they're so used to this new formula that's just come out of nowhere where, oh no, we're having 8-episode seasons. Oh, but they're about, between 45 minutes, sometimes 30 minutes, and an hour long. And that always sucks because you always feel like you're not getting your money's worth. You always feel like you're not getting enough. You always feel like there's so much more that could be done. Whereas with All of Us Are Dead, you feel like every episode, I need to watch the next one. This is something I binge watched because I was like, oh man, that ended on a cliffhanger. Like that ended on a note I want to know more about. I'm so invested in these characters now. I got to find out more. And it's been so long since I've had that experience with a show. So just to see anyone criticizing it grinds my gears because no, it was a show where it ended. I was like, no. What do you mean this is where it's going to end? I need to know more. And of course, there has not been any confirmation on a season 2, but I really hope that it's able to find the same success that a lot of other of these South Korean films and shows have been able to really have, so that it's able to get a second season, because there is a lot of room for a second season, and it does leave you at the end kind of asking a lot of questions and really wanting to know a lot more about certain characters and what happens to certain characters. At the end, there's a bit of a time jump that happens, and it's very interesting to see exactly what's going on and how it's playing out. And there's a lot of directions that season 2 could go in, especially in this again, zombie apocalyptic world that's being built by the show, and a lot of the rules that are being built, and a lot of the developments that happen within the actual virus itself, the Jonas virus, as it is called in here. And I thought that the development of the Jonas virus was also really cool, and also added a level of heart to it as well. And it just, I don't know, it was really great. So as it says here, it's a coming-of-age horror zombie apocalypse, and I think that that's a perfect explanation. So if you're someone that tends to like or is drawn to coming-of-age stories where you like to see, these young characters who are starting to learn who they are as they're juniors and seniors in high school, and they're trying to figure out their life, and now all of a sudden their lives are being turned upside down, right? I think that this is going to offer a lot of people a lot of different things. So if you are a fan of the zombie genre, I think that you will thoroughly enjoy this film because it has a lot of those great zombie. By the way, the acting in this show is fantastic. Again, something else that's been very, very, I think, persistent and consistent, right? With these South Korean shows, is that every single one of them, the movies too, where all the actors in there are just fantastic, even though a lot of them are just relatively unknown. And I thought it was interesting because the one of the creators of the show actually made a comment about that very thing, about the actors themselves. And it talked about here saying, I thought that bringing in, so in selecting the cast of director Lee Jao-kyo, I have no idea if I pronounced that correctly, but it says, I thought that bringing on actors who were great at acting but still unknown to the public would add to the immersion of the series. And it does. You believe that these kids are indeed going through this experience, right? They feel like actual high school students. They don't feel like 30-something-year-olds playing high school students, which you oftentimes have. They actually feel like they are fitting in these characters. You believe that they are the juniors and seniors that are being portrayed in the show. And because of just how well made it is, it's again, acting, the writing of it. I will say my big criticism is the ending. I would definitely say that the ending of the show, as far as the season is concerned, is definitely one where I was not a big fan of it. Only not necessarily because of the fact that they did a that they did a cliffhanger or that they were kind of, building up to a season 2, but also because the way in which it ends, it just still leaves you in a position where it's leading up to a season 2 where they could do a season 2, but it also leads you up to where they could end the show there too. And that kind of is frustrating because it's like, I kind of want to know more. It's so infuriating, but I can't really be that too upset about that because they gave us 12 episodes, each ranging from, I think it actually has the running metrics here, between 53 and 72 minutes. So they're giving you everything they can. They don't cheap you, right? It's not like a Disney Plus show where it's like, oh, these are going to be long form shows, and then some episodes are like 30 minutes and they don't give you anything, and then they only give you about 8 episodes or so a season, or 10 episodes, and then it's like, oh yeah, still haven't gotten anything from the show. This one gives you 12 episodes, all of them almost about an hour long, and I think that all of them deliver in this way. And then the one other gripe that I would have is, of course, a CGI gripe, because there's one character in the film, or rather one character in the series, and again, this is not really spoiling much, but there is a baby character that's featured in the series, and the baby's face is CGI. And it's very, very noticeable CGI. And I remember just every time that they would show the baby, which were only a few times, but every time they would show the baby, I would just get so frustrated because I'd be like, it's so bad. Why couldn't you just cast a baby? And I'm sure that one of the excuses or reasons that they would have given is that this was filmed during kind of like the core of the, the COVID, fear-demic. And so they probably, didn't want to have a baby, even though they wouldn't really be as much at risk there. That would be my guess. But still, it was a weird thing because at one point they actually do have a baby's hand, and the baby's hand is real, but then they never show an actual baby's face because every time they do, it's CGI. It just did not look very good. But those are my thoughts. If I had to give the series season 1 a grade, I'm going to give it an A-. I think it was a solid show. I thought that the acting was fantastic. Again, these young actors coming out of South Korea are truly amazing and talented, and it's always great for me to see that even in the zombie apocalypse genre, that you're still going to have really talented actors coming onto it. And I really wish that we could, in the West and in America, start to adopt some of these principles of, hey, we're going to cast people because they're good actors. We're going to cast people because they fit the role, and not just because, diversity. These are all South Korean actors. This is a pure South Korean. There's no real diversity in this show. I'm surprised that wasn't the number one complaint, saying, well, we really could have used some diversity here. You don't hear that complaint often coming out of these movies and of these shows that are set in South Korea. Again, different values, different cultures, and I think this is the reason why they are doing so well and so successful, is because they are not bound by this woke cultist agenda that we see so often being pushed in our own country. But this is a solid show. Highly recommend it. I really hope it gets available on Blu-ray, maybe even 4K release at some point in the future. I think that this is a show that a lot of people would really enjoy, and I know that, again, and for valid reasons, people have issues with Netflix, and right now this is the only way, unless you sail the high seas, in order to access it and watch it. So I really hope that they do a physical media release. That way more people have access to it, especially those that have canceled their Netflix for very good reason. But what are y'all's thoughts about this? Have you seen All of Us Are Dead? What are y'all's thoughts about it? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you like this video, smash that like button, light up that fire button if you're on Odyssey. You're all amazing and beautiful people. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And as always, God bless. And now for a huge shout out to all of my March Patreon Subscribe Star and Locals members. Starting off first with my Patreon members, animation commentator Brandon, let's go Brandon, Brian P., Christopher Bowman, Father Christopher Miller, hail to you, Father, Father Damian Cook, Fuzz Aldrin, Garrett Searles, Hannibal Grimm, Harold Francis, Hymir Ari Hymason, Inflamed Wood, Jacob Juice, Jeff Toon, Joe Horn, Jonathan Carney, Gomer Kyle 79, Laura, the Modern Major General Story, Mike Jackson, Mad Mitch Dunaway, Mondo Spieler, Mr. Peabody, On to June, Orange Chat Reviews, Out of Step with Reality, Rosetta Allen, Stan Andrian, Miss Martin Muses, Theodore Bendon, Tina Bojan, and, of course, Tina B., the Empress of the Universe. Also, a shout-out to my Subscribe Star members, starting off with Trent Johnson, Matt317, UAB Mad Dog, Mike Jackson, Storm Tracker, The R, Nosferatu Gatsu, Stan 4, John B., Mr. Roy, Glinzer, J. Alex McCarthy Jr., Dean Heiss / the new number 2, J-Rod the Beer Guru, and ZK Man Batman, and a final shout out to my locals members, Kara Tharp, UAB Mad Dog, Mike Jackson, and Robert Barnes. Thank you all so very much for being supporters, monthly supporters of the channel. And if you want your name shouted out at the end of every single live stream and every single video, please check out the pinned, the very top link in the video description. It is noted as the Willow link there. It'll bring you to basically a link tree of all the different places that you can support on Patreon, Subscribestar, or on Locals. And also there are other tiers that you can get access to as well, including an Army of Asgard level where you get not only the shout out, but you also get access to a giveaways channel that I have on my Discord, where you get offers of giveaways, or rather you get access to giveaways of 4K titles, Blu-rays, digital codes, all kinds of stuff, steelbooks. It's just, I'm giving away stuff all the time over there, and it's a lot of fun as well. So go check that out if you're interested. There's also the Keeper of the Bifrost level, which is the higher level up than that, and you get everything from the previous tiers. Plus, you get access to a once or twice a month podcast that I do with John the Flick Pick Flickinger, where you get to ask us Q&A, right? You get to ask us questions, any question that you like, movie or non-movie related. We will answer them once, maybe twice a month. We're trying to work on a second opportunity for us to have a show, but right now it's at least once a month. So again, you get access with that with the Keep of the Bifrost level. And then there is the Chosen of Valhalla level, the very premium level, where you get access to all of those things. Plus, you get to be featured on the channel once a month with me and the other Chosen members, where we talk about movies and stuff. Anything really that the Chosen want to talk about. And it's always a very fun discussion. We usually have about 3.5 hour discussion. So again, that's what you get access to at the Chosen of Valhalla level. Also, you get a free t-shirt during your first month. All you need to do is just let me know what t-shirt you want from the store, and also their size, location, etc. And I send those out anywhere in the world. Anyway, you guys are all amazing and beautiful people. Thank you all so very much again for your love and for your support. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and as always, God bless.